Hello, friends, and welcome to Leadership Happy Hour. My name is Chip Lutz, unconventional leader. And tonight on Leadership Happy Hour, I am super excited because I've been waiting a month to interview my good buddy, Chip Madera. He spends most of his time in the healthcare market talking to, helping hospitals and doctors' offices increase their productivity, their engagement. And he's fundamentally an overall cool guy. Good sense of humor, great leader. He's a leadership lion. So please welcome and a big cheers to Chip Madera. Welcome, my friend.
Cheers, Chip. Pleasure to talk with you today. I feel like my voice is echoing when I say Chip. I never get the opportunity to say that. I probably met two Chips in my entire life, and I'm one of them. So there you go.
And I'm the other.
What a pleasure.
It is. So tell people a little bit about what you do, what your background is, give us the hot skinny on Chip.
Yeah, we did some psychology in our undergraduate and some organizational development on our master's program, and that led me into a lot of work with healthcare organizations. I started a corporate university back in the early 90s in a hospital down in Vero Beach, Florida. And that just launched an opportunity for me to engage with people and help them lead and help them engage others. And I started my business full-time back in 1997. So we're nearly 2 decades into full-time speaking and professional consulting. And I do about 85% of my work with healthcare clients, hospitals, physician practices. But I do a fair bit with other groups, like you've heard of them, probably AT&T and Disney and Gatorade, and you've heard of them.
I've never heard of this. Who are they?
But, occasionally they ask me to talk to them. They think I have some sense about engaging others. So that's what I do. And I love it. I love helping people see results. I'm a results-oriented guy, and I like to see people get what they're after. And a lot of times people get stuck. They don't know how to do it. So we come in and help them, find simple ways to operationalize that and get it done.
I like that. I like theory, but I love application. Love it.
Absolutely.
A lot of times, like you said, people get stuck. They don't know exactly what to do. They can read a book, but if you give them like actionable strategies, that's what's important.
Absolutely. And you know what? Oh, go ahead, Chip. Yeah.
No, I just said I've still got a little feedback on there, so I was like, I'm trying to wait for myself to finish on your end before I start speaking again.
Well, go ahead and wait, and then ask me your question. Yeah.
So, for you in your market, normally when you go out, what are some of the biggest things you see leaders struggling with today?
I really think it is about managing people. They tend to believe that actually going and observing and giving feedback to performance is an affront to employees. And I really find that they lack the courage to really sit down and have an honest conversation about performance. And they struggle with that because and I think we have to unread about the last 2 decades of a lot of leadership management books we've read, because it really talks about coddling employees and just making them feel good. And really the outcomes are poor. We've created an entitled workforce that shows up every day and thinks that what they do is good enough. And yet it's our fault as leaders because we really haven't defined what good enough is. We just expect them to understand what it is. And without any clarity or well-defined objectives, people can't raise the bar because there is no bar. And you can't fall off the bottom, Chip. So that's what we've done. We've kind of created.
On that?
I am. It's we'll be doing this the whole time, okay, buddy?
Exactly.
And you know what? I always talk to myself when I'm looking for good advice. So this is really going to work well.
And further, I think I'm one of the funniest people I know. So I'm
absolutely
laugh.
Yeah.
That's interesting you say that. Do you think that's partially, I found that people are really good at delegating via email, but the face-to-face portion of getting feedback and talking to people is lost. Do you think there's an electronic component to that? That with the advent of email and electronic message, all that stuff, that we've lost that personal touch with people?
Maybe. I just think it's when you get face to face with people one-on-one, you've got to get it. You get into the drama, and people don't want to get into the drama. It's like when I walk up to you, I've got to talk with you about the ball game last night, or I've got to listen to your woes about what's going on in your family, or what, and that's the part I think that a lot of leaders have a hard time with. They know that if I go tell you in person and I have to engage you, how about this? What if I just stood outside, watched you work for 5 minutes? I mean, what a novel concept. I could actually learn not only how you're doing things, but how you engage with others while you're doing it. And then I could give you some meaningful feedback. Wow, wouldn't that be great? How about an employee knowing if what they're doing is actually what you expect of them? That would be a brilliant idea. I mean, they could actually feel affirmed. They could feel like they're on the right path. They could, or they could get some corrections so they know that they're in your good graces or that they're in the company's best interest.
Right.
But no feedback is usually the option. And whether that comes in the form of some nebulous email that's hard to decipher what it really means, or whether that means me coming down and, shouting some vague orders at you, ultimately people need clarity. And there's a lot of vagueness in the workplace today. That's my opinion.
There is a lot of vagueness, the ambiguity.
Yes.
So, because I'm a firm believer, people usually will generally rise to the expectations set of them. However, traditionally leaders, like you said, do a poor job of communicating those expectations. We just assume people know.
Exactly. We should on them. We should on them. They should know that. How's that feel, Chip, to be should on? You know what I mean? That feels great, doesn't it? Very empowering.
I like that. Yep. I like that. We should on them. I'm not going to steal it. I like it though.
But, ultimately, like for example, like I do a lot of work with healthcare groups because the patient experience is really at the forefront, not only of taking care of people at a higher level, but reimbursements. I mean, hospitals, providers are being paid at a higher level when they create more amazing patient experiences. And if you look at, for example, like we talk about expectations, if you look at the job description of the average nurse or some technical clerk in a healthcare environment, you will see a myriad of bullet points of what we want them to do. We want you to change this out every hour. We want you to document this. We want you to do, like it's a list of what's, about 50 what's. This is what I want you to do. And then there's some kind of Likert scale, 1 to 5. How well do you do that?
Right.
What you'll find missing on that job description is how I want you to do it. There's virtually nothing on that job description that defines how I want you to do that. So watch this. I'm supposed to clean out the tube. That's my technical job. But it doesn't define how I'm supposed to do that. So I'm a nurse and I walk into the patient and I say, roll over. So that patient interprets that I don't care, that I don't want to take care of them, but I'm doing my job because my job is cleaning out the tube. I mean, that's what's on my job description. But there's very little definition around how I do it. And think about the colossal gap there. For if you have 200 or say 2,400 employees, and you have all of their what's defined, but you don't have how they define it done, you get 2,400 different variations of how you want that job done. Question, how would it be at Disney World if you let 70,000 people, that's how many people work in Central Florida at Disney, if you let 70,000 people define happy in the happiest place on earth? Let me ask you, how happy do you think it'd be? I mean, you can't.
Akin to a monkey having sex with a football.
So that's where we're going.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going. We're going to monkey humping a football. Okay. All right. It's happy hour. Okay. Whatever you say.
Well,
You're running the show.
You would get 70,000, which, by the way, 70,000. That's twice the size of my hometown. And it just amazing to me. You would get 70,000 different variations on happy.
Exactly. But they've done a great job, Chip. Would you not agree, of defining what happy is? You know, what happy talks like and walks like, what happy says, how happy dresses, when happy comes to work, when happy takes a break. You know, happy in the happiest place on earth is got to be crystal clear if you're going to have 70,000 people engaged fully on creating that experience. And that's what I think is missing in a lot of, especially the service industry. You know, there's a lot of, you know, you define it, you know, and you have, for example, business owners, small business owners, you know, their livelihood's on the line and they hire some guy or gal, they get behind the cash register, they show them how to take their money and, you know, do the transaction, swipe the credit card, but there's very little discussion about how do I engage the customer? How do I make them feel important, make them feel special? If the business owner, they would do that. I mean, they know that. They get it because their livelihood is on the line. But they're hiring some 18-year-old kid to show up and do this, and they spend 2 minutes with them on saying, well, be nice. You know, be courteous. Well, what the heck does courteous mean to an 18-year-old kid or, you know, or a 25-year-old kid? You know, so define it. This is what courtesy says. This is how courtesy answers the phone. You know, this is what you say when the person takes the product and walks out of the store. Thank you so much for your business. Have a wonderful day. You know, whatever. Define it. And then make sure that everybody does it, you know, all the time. Not just some of the time, all the time, always.
You just like blown my mind, you know, thinking about it, you know, how important an overall crystal clear strategy is for people on, you know, that they have to know it. They have to, you know, tangibly see it in their head. They have to feel it. That, you know,
Absolutely.
that helps them figure out, even if they're left on their own, that if you're crystal clear on that, what it is, then they'll be able to figure it out. And you're not leaving them to their own devices.
Absolutely. And truthfully, every employee wants to succeed. Nobody hires onto a job and says, you know, I sure hope I fail. I sure hope I blow this thing up. You know, everybody when they sign on, they want their boss to go, you're a rock star. Well, have we defined what a rock star is in our company? I mean, for heaven's sakes, I mean, even onboarding, we try to hire people. Do managers even know what a rock star is? I mean, how will they identify them when they walk in and sit in that chair for the interview? I mean, have you not clarified the kind of behaviors that you're looking for? And can you not interview to identify those behaviors in a new candidate? So when they sign on with you, they're a perfect fit for your corporate culture. And I mean, again, it seems to you and I, because we do this for a living, that seems very simple that should be defined. But I'll tell you what, Chip, if you do a study of a lot of your clients, there's a lot of vagueness around that. And they just don't, there's this fear that if I tell you how I want you to do it, I'm diminishing you somehow. I'm making you feel less of a human or something. And it isn't. It's, I'm the leader of my business. For heaven's sakes, show me what you want. I mean, tell me where you want me to go. And I think that's the problem is we haven't done a good job of really defining that and then getting people aligned with that. Because what you're going to do, the first thing you do in your company when you align, when you find out what you want, you're going to lose people that you currently have because they don't want to play ball that way. For example, if I said to you every single time, if you have 100 customers that walk up to the counter, every single one of them is going to be greeted with a warm smile, a positive tone, and a friendly demeanor. Every one of them, not 99, 100 of them. I'm going to have somebody, if I have 100 employees, I'm going to have one of them who says, nope, I don't want to do that. I don't smile. I don't like to smile. I don't like to be friendly. That's not me.
I don't
like people. And you know what? Here's the point. That's okay. I mean, why would I want you as an employee to show up every day and do something you don't want to do? I mean, I don't believe in making people do what they don't want to do. They just can't work for me. I mean, you understand? Maybe I can help them work for somebody else who doesn't care so much. Maybe my competition. I love that strategy. Take your thumb-sucking losers and send them to your competition. I think that's a brilliant strategy.
Yeah. You said, I was like, hey, I hear that McDonald's is hiring down the streets.
So absolutely. So they're chasing all their customers over to you. I mean, absolutely.
That is funny. Thumb-sucking
losers. Yeah. By the way, you can find me there, nomorethumbsuckinglosers.com. You can find me there, so I just want to let you know if you're interested.
What do you mean?
It's one of my websites, nomorethumbsuckinglosers.com. Yes. Yeah. I have a personal purpose of shedding the world of these people. There are many out there.
I knew that you sold. I knew that you had the buttons on your website where I could get a button that said that. Just $1.
Just $1
at chipmadera.com.
Absolutely. Change your wardrobe.
Great. Which is an awesome Christmas gift for those people that you really care about.
Exactly.
Little shameless plug for you there. You're not going to get rich on that. I just want to make sure I put a plug in.
We only need 1 million buttons sold.
We're
currently at 5. Do I hear 6? Do I hear 6 out there?
Because I know you do a lot of hands-on work with hospitals. So, and what's amazing about the work that you do is you do it faster than other people. Right. Other people are like, hey, we can improve your results in a year. You're like, hey, 13 weeks, we're gonna improve your numbers. Right. So when you go in, you do that. I mean, what's some of the hands-on stuff you do with leaders to get results right away?
Great question, Chip. We do what's called a 90-day transformation. And I'm a big believer that the speed in which your organization changes is as telling of your future failure or success as your ability to create the change in the first place. In other words, in the marketplace today, people aren't impressed with your ability to change. Whoop-de-doo. Everybody's changing. You must in order to accommodate the needs of your customers. The question is this: how fast can you do it? How nimble are you? And if you can create a culture that perpetuates speed does not kill, Chip. Impact does. Okay, you have to understand. People are saying, Chip, this is moving too fast. We can't do it. I say, no. You don't understand. They're like, speed kills. I said, no, it doesn't. Impact does. And when you're moving fast or faster than your competition, there's nobody in front of you. That means there's nothing to hit.
Right.
That means you have no obstacles. You're defining the path. You get to run as fast as you want. And so to me, I mean, here's the way I like to look at it. How long would you let your dog poop on the floor? I mean, would you?
Not very long.
You'd fix that, wouldn't you, Chip? I mean, you'd get right on that. You'd solve that issue.
Cheers, buddy. That would be a gone dog.
And why? Why? Because you don't like poop on your floor. You wouldn't have people over to your house if you had poop on your floor all the time. And yet, here's my point.
Further, I wouldn't have people over at my house.
There you go. Exactly. So here's the deal. So why would you let employees come in every day and crap all over your brand? Why would you let them come in and say things that turn your customers away? Why would you let them come in and do things that offend people and that send people running to your competition? So here's my point. It doesn't take a year or 2 or 3 or 4 to change a culture. And by the way, you don't need a handbook on this. I grew up in a home in Pennsylvania, a small town, a farm town in Grampian, Pennsylvania. And I learned something that during the day, I could get away with a lot of things. I mean, if I wanted to do something bad, I did it in the daytime. And the reason I did is because my mother was home, and my mother was a sweetheart. She was a warm, friendly person. I mean, my mother, I can remember her maybe spanking me once or twice in her lifetime. In fact, she would often ask me to go get something to spank me with. I love that. She'd say, Chip, go get me something to spank you with. And I'd bring back like a balloon, something like that. But anyway, here's the deal. At 5:30, when I was a little kid and I heard the gravel turn up underneath my dad's car pulling into the driveway, I knew my life was about to fundamentally change. Nobody had to tell me, Chip, your dad's coming home. You better straighten up. I just knew it. I mean, I don't know my sister and I didn't have to sit down in some room and say, this is the way it is around here. We just knew what it was. We knew what the rules were. And the point is, everybody in an organization knows what the rules are. You don't have to sit down and have a big corporate meeting, a big, what do you call it, town hall or whatever you want to call it in your corporation. People know what the rules are. And if they know what they could get away with, they know what's expected of them, what will be punished, what will be rewarded. They already know that stuff. And so here's what I do is I go in and I help organizations get really uber clear about what they want from people. Then I spend 2 full days with leadership teaching them how to get that, teaching them how to communicate it, teaching them how to talk about that, teaching them how to round on these behaviors that they're looking for, and then how to coach people to create those outcomes they're looking for. And then we go into the employee group and we actually talk to employees about what those new expectations are. And we roll that out for the company and teach them from now on. And we actually get employees to sign off on it. Say, I agree to do this, 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 and this. And these are conditions of employment. And it's a powerful point of accountability for the whole organization. By the way, it's all predicated upon the fact that if we don't do this, we will not survive. And please understand, I mean, I'm working with a lot of hospitals and healthcare groups that literally, unless they change the way they engage with the patient and the patient experience, they will be out of business in the next 3 to 5 years. There's no question about it. They will shut their doors. They will close up. There will be no more jobs available. There is a lot on the line. And we talk about the effects of the inability of people to make that shift. And when you do that and you're clear and you're upfront and you're transparent and you say, this is it, I'm going to do it. I found in my experience that we even find at the end of that training for leaders and employees that we have a lot of people self-select out. You don't have to fire them. They just say, I just don't want to play like this anymore. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be nice to people. I'm not made for this. And they'll resign. They'll just say, look, I quit. I don't want to do it. And you'll have the opposite happen. High performers who haven't been giving you their heart because they don't know you're serious. They don't think you really care. Now, all of a sudden, these high performers are fully engaged. They are performing at a level that is just going to blow your mind. I mean, you think your high performers are performing high. You have no idea what they will do for you. They are going to blow your mind, right? Because they now know the things that they've been doing are going to be rewarded and appreciated and valued. And hopefully, if you build it on performance, compensated, right? Because now they know this is what they've been doing. These are the things that are going to be rewarded in our organization. I'm going to help keep us alive. And they will show up. I'm telling you, that whole Pareto principle, 20% of the people do 80% of the work. Well, those 20, that 20% is going to be so highly engaged that they really change the way that workforce operates. And we found it to be true for a myriad of organizations, and we've seen that shift. And I'm proud to say that it's not my work. I just come in and kick people in the seat and kind of get there's 17 inches between a pat in the back and a kick in the seat, Chip. 17 inches. And I say, leaders need to show up swinging every day. And that's the problem. We have leaders that show up and they're not swinging. They're just hoping people, sure. Hope is not a strategy. You don't walk in, I sure hope Sally shows up really working hard today. She's not going to do it. You got to either kick her in a seat or pat her on the back, one or the other. You got to get her moving. Hey, I'm rambling, buddy.
I've said that a long time as well, that hope is not a strategy.
No, sir.
It absolutely is not. So I would think that a big portion of teaching leaders with the performance aspect of it is helping them deal with the drama and the confrontation piece.
Correct.
How do you help them be direct and do it in such a way that it's constructive and not destructive?
Yeah. Well, most of it has to do with, we tend to be verbose when we're cautious. We tend to be mealy-mouthed. We beat around the bush. We step lightly, right? And what we teach them is to be very, very succinct. The process is, this is what I'm expecting. This is why I'm expecting. This is what I'm expecting. Can I count on you to do this from now on? To literally the sales pitch, give me a commitment right now. And then it's going to be, okay, now that you've committed to doing this, here's what I'm going to do to help you. I'm going to come around a couple times next week and observe your performance. I'm going to give you immediate feedback and tell you how you did. It just lets people know, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I expect of you. I get your agreement. Here's our contract. Here's how we're going to make this work. It's a 5-step process that really ties into, what I do is I tie it back into the overall mission of the organization. If our mission is to create exceptional experiences for our patients, then when I ask you to greet people, for example, we talked about this earlier, when I ask you to greet people with a warm, friendly smile and positive tone, do you understand how that connects to that mission? So your behavior and what I'm expecting of you on the job is a direct expectation for how you're going to create that outcome for me and for the patient. And by the way, if you don't, we're going to close. Okay, we're going to close our doors. So,
and you're going to be down in the cheese line, down by the river,
living in the van. That's
in the van.
Right. So that's the point. It's like, here's our business objective. Here's what I need from you. Can I count on it? Here's what we're going to do to make this work. And it's just getting those succinct, simple contracts with people that say we're starting over. And here's the way I love to do this, Chip, is I love to have managers own it. When they have that first conversation, they, for example, had a poor performer that they've had for years, and they've never talked to them. They just let them go. And what I love to do is have them start out like this. You know what? You set them down and go, you know what? I've really failed you. I've blown it. Truthfully, I've had expectations of you, but I've never shared them. That's my fault. I apologize. Really.
Sounds like my marriage.
I completely own this. I'm a turd. You know what I mean? I am a bad guy. But guess what? I'm going to turn it around. Here's our opportunity, and then go into that coaching model. And what that does is, when the manager owns it, then the manager has the opportunity to change it. Everyone talks about holding employees accountable. Employees are not accountable. I do not believe employees are accountable. Management's accountable. Because if that employee screws up, they're coming after me. They're not coming after the employee. And so I'm accountable for that employee's behavior. And so ultimately, I have to be the one that's accountable. And so therefore, I say that to the employee. Okay, I need you to do this. And by the way, the reason I need you to do this, because if you don't do it, our scores are not going to change. Our outcomes are not going to change. And they're coming after me. They're not going to come after you. They're coming after me. So now I've got to watch you. I've got to observe you. I've got to give you feedback, because if you don't do this, my butt is on fire. Do you understand that? I don't think, I think that changes the whole scope of the conversation, because now no longer am I picking on you. What I'm doing is I'm holding myself accountable to something that you are responsible to create for me. And now it gives me the right. It gives me the right to monitor you. You know, it gives me the right to come around.
You can delegate responsibility, not accountability.
Absolutely. I hold that.
Cheers to that, my friend.
Cheers.
Well, what time you got? I want to make sure we don't go over.
I have 5:30. Well, I have 6:30. It's 5:30 your time.
We're good. We're good then. All right, cool. I got about 5 more minutes.
Super.
So,
what would you do in that situation? You know, for example, where you have an employee, where you have managers who haven't really been managing well. What is your advice for managers that really have not taken the mantle of leadership and have kind of passively slipped into this real passive, aggressive kind of approach to leadership, where they just come out of the woodwork occasionally with a little email or a text message, or, you know, what do you say to them? What's needed to break that?
What's needed is for them to get out and about and connect with their people.
You like that one-on-one period, yes. That high touch.
I've said this before, there is no secret to leading people, except it's all about people. That's the big secret.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we all have a wait for my sentence to finish on your side. we all wait for, or we read these books on, you know, I'm going to do this, that, but I think you hit it correctly there on leaders need to own it. If you've been jacked in the past, today's the day.
Right.
Own it. Get out of your cubicle. Go connect with people. Right. Coach them. If they're not doing exactly right, coach them along the way. Coach them to success.
Absolutely. Engage.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
It's hard for me to. I've been letting you talk all the time because there's no feedback on my end. You talk, and I'm just like, that's awesome. But as soon as I start talking to you, I hear myself.
Right.
Like,
Oh well.
I can't compete with me.
Well, it's just twice as good, my friend.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you spending a little time with me today.
My pleasure.
And I know that the people listening to this are going to get a lot of value from the different things that you share. So what I'm going to do, if we were at a regular bar, I would certainly challenge you to do something crazy.
Oh my.
But instead, I'm going to ask you random questions.
Oh wow.
From my overstaffed Would You Rather book. All right. I did not check these out.
Thank you. I'm glad you weren't strategic about it. Now it's up to faith.
All right. Now I'm getting it's really weird. I'm feedback I'm getting now. Can you hear me?
I can't, sir.
Okay, good. I guess it's on my end. Would you rather have thorn-covered skin or at parties be unable to hold conversations about anything other than max headroom?
What's that? Would you rather have thorn-covered skin or be able to have conversations?
Or at parties, be unable to hold conversations about anything other than max headroom?
I'd rather have thorny skin.
I'm with you on that. All right. Let me pick another.
All right, great.
My good buddy Chip. Would you rather remove your two front teeth with a bottle opener, or Pierce your ears, nose, and navel with a hole puncher.
Oh, I'm going to do the piercing. I'm going to do the piercing.
That's very telling. That's very telling. My last question.
I've actually done 2 of those. So with the hole punch. So yeah. So I'm halfway there.
My last would you rather question for you. Would you rather, Chip, be pressed to death in a giant waffle grill,
Oh my God.
or be blended to death?
Oh wow. Pressed in the waffle grill. Yeah.
Me too.
Me too.
Yes.
I like waffles.
I like waffles.
I do too. Absolutely.
So after today, for those listening, where can people find you, Chip?
Oh, they can find me at leadershiplion.com or at chipmadera.com, either one. Or nomorethumbsuckinglosers.com. You can find me there as well.
And you've got cool stuff
on your website. And
Yes.
I fully encourage you to check it out. Check it out on YouTube. You are a fantastic speaker.
Well, what a pleasure.
I love your voice. But two, your content is awesome.
Well, thank you, my friend.
Top notch.
And I hope
Great stuff.
I'm hoping that one of these days we get to be on the same platform together and get the opportunity of speaking together. I know I have a couple clients that they're kind of called out for you that I'm going to make sure they know about you and see how we can you can help serve their organization as well. I think you'd be a great fit for them. So thank you, my friend. It was such a pleasure.
It's the leadership.
Absolutely. I love that.
Well, I want to thank you again. A big cheers to you and your family.
Thank you. Same to you, Chip.
Take care, my friend. And I'll catch you on the flip side.
Thank you. Thank you, Chip.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.